And we're back, episode 10.
Ooh, I'm number 10.
Yeah, I know, right? What a crazy privilege.
That's a big privilege.
Once again, we're doing an interview. It's the same format as we always do every week, except for that one week where I didn't do an interview. So yeah, we're still kicking. We took a week off because the COVID was going around, but we're back. We got a guest here. We got Daniel.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
This guy's a comedian. He's a funny guy.
I try to be.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
So have you ever been interviewed before?
One time I was on a podcast before, and it was my dad's podcast, and it was never aired. I don't know what he's doing with it now, but
I didn't realize your dad was a podcaster.
it's not something that he's really expanded into a whole lot, but it was still fun to do.
He was more just like toying with it, experimenting with it.
Yeah. He's like, "Can I interview?" I was like, "Okay. Do I need to know some of the questions?" He's like, "No, just wing it," and it went horribly.
That's the kind of energy I like to bring into my show. It's just I have like maybe loose notes, and that's all I go into it with.
Just raw dogging it.
Yeah, I was reading criticisms of the show, and other than the people who are just like, "Oh, you made a bit about Goatsy, that's gross," it's like the more structure was the big thing. And I'm just like, I don't know, I like the yes anding, the organic element of it.
Structure can't be good for you.
I'm the least structured person I know.
I don't know. You said you worked in trades, but those people aren't very structured.
No, not at all. I think they just wing it every day. The construction job I was working downtown Vancouver in like a basement the entire time. And I learned afterwards that was like the most dangerous job like in that entire company.
Just working in a basement?
Like the amount of like workplace injuries they had on that site was like 10 times higher than any other site they had in the entire country.
You ever walk away with any good workplace injuries?
I mean, I got like a big sprain on my hand once. That sucked.
I was walking up the steps and I tripped.
No, I like bashed my hand with like a hammer or something. It was my own incompetence.
Oh, there we go. That'll get you.
But yeah, we had someone who like nearly died. Someone like doing rebar, and they were standing up, like 1 foot on one bar and then 1 foot on the other, and they tripped and they like punctured like their back with a rebar pipe. And they were like half an inch away from just getting their lung like completely punctured.
Yeah, but they're alive, aren't they?
Well, I hope so.
You don't know?
Well, I'm pretty sure they were alive. I feel like they would have closed the site if somebody had died.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, they were just subcontractors, so
no one cares about those guys.
They probably got paid less than I did. As a company man, as a laborer, working 12 hours a day. Lost 40 pounds of that job.
40 pounds of what?
Of fat.
Did you find it again?
No. I was replacing it with muscle, but it's not the same thing.
No.
And it's not there yet.
Can't replace fat with muscle. It doesn't feel the same.
No, it doesn't. Now I'm just sore all the time.
I'm less jolly,
I'm less jolly. I feel like I'm less like friendly looking now. I mean, I'm less creepy looking now too, but I'm less friendly looking now.
I wouldn't say less creepy looking.
Yeah, you got me there.
I mean, where I'm doing a podcast with you, you're in your robe and pajamas, and I feel like I'm in a trailer park right now. It's great, though. It's a good vibe.
See, I was shooting towards my, like, Tony Soprano look. So you're from Kelowna. That's why I got the word in there.
You got the word in there. Yeah, we're not completely burnt down yet.
Do you ever feel ashamed to be from the Okanagan?
Yeah, all the time.
Nah, me too.
Yeah, whenever I tell people I'm from Kelowna, they have, like, this expectation that, like, big party person and that I do coke, and I can't say I do either of those.
I think people outside of Canada or even BC, like, I guess like they compare like BC to like I would say like a Seattle or a Portland, but we also have a Florida here.
Kelowna.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just like every time I go back now, I'm just like I don't like half the people here.
No.
Like at all.
No, they're pretty awful. Shout out Kelowna.
It's like whenever I hear about someone just being like horrible to someone else, like in like a bigoted way, like a lot of like anti-LGBTQ stuff, and I read in Kelowna, I'm like, yeah.
It's not a surprise.
That's like the least surprising thing you could have told me.
Our crime rate is going up too, but it's a lot of like the petty theft and vandalism, which is kind of annoying. I feel like if our crime rate's going to increase, we should go like all out,
Yeah, commit cool crimes.
Yeah, like we have out there. Like, what are they doing?
They're just slacking.
What, are they in Kelowna and on vacation or something like that? That's boring. Start a turf war with someone.
All that money is really making them complacent.
Someone should put them in their place.
We're like, well, actually, no, I'm not going to form a gang on my show, actually. I'm going to back that back. I have no issue with organization.
Yes, he does. He told me off camera.
No.
If any are listening, you could come on the podcast and just give us your side of the story.
Quite frankly, I admire their entrepreneurial spirit.
They grind.
They
definitely grind.
They work hard at what they do. And you know what? Running an illegal enterprise, that's like double the work of running a legitimate one.
They are providing a service to the entirety of the Okanagan and probably the world.
As a capitalist myself, they supply and demand.
That's the big C word.
Yeah, I don't know what it means, actually. I don't understand that.
I just say it all the time and people think I know what I'm talking about.
It's like capitalism, and then people think I'm smart.
I always think that like capitalism is what you do when you write in all caps.
The caps lock form of
I'm
writing.
a big believer in capitalism. People think I'm shouting all the time when I'm typing. I'm not.
It's like, oh, I thought I was applying for a business job. Why wouldn't I write in all caps? It's like I'm trying to get into solder right now, and it's just not working.
Makes you stand out. It's like writing in like green ink.
That's always wondered those like multicolor pens that you can get where it's just like you have like the red and the black and the blue option, and they always
Orange
have a
is a
green
good
option.
color. Orange is a good color.
Well, it's hard to read, isn't it?
So what? It's hard to read in general, man. Doesn't matter what color the ink is.
Yeah, I think if you need to like pay attention to what I'm writing down, I think that's good. Like I think you should put as much effort as possible into like reading what I write,
I just like making it difficult for people to read what I'm doing. It's like if I'm going through all this work of writing something down, you're going to have to work a little harder to read it.
I just do that by writing like a toddler.
You ever like which hand are you dominant?
Left hand.
Left hand? You ever like write with your right hand just to throw people off?
Yeah, I mean sometimes. But I mean I always think that my writing's bad with my left hand, and then I use my right hand. I'm like I feel embarrassed.
You invent a new language.
It's basically like I'm writing hieroglyphs.
People are going to study it years from now and be like, this man was a scholar. And it's like, nope, just bad at handwriting.
See, I hope people look back on my show like that. This guy was a scholar. This guy was so wise.
He talked about foreskin.
I'm still bitter about that. Doesn't matter how many episodes I do. I think that's the constant through line is that, I got circumcised and I'm mad about it.
I think you should ask other, like, your next guests about their foreskin as well. Just keep that theme running.
So how about your foreskin?
Oh, it's still there.
Damn.
I was not robbed.
What's it like having foreskin?
It's very warm. In the winter time especially, it's nice to have.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I will say, when I have a friend who is missing their foreskin and they're cold in the winter, like, oh, my wiener is a little chilly. I'm like, well, I got a hood and we can share. And we just
so it stretches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was a sheath designed for one sword. I didn't realize that you could tuck more than one in there.
Well, I mean, you can just get the tip.
What if, like, further down the shaft is, like, cold, though?
That's what hands were invented for.
And mouths.
And mouths, yeah. If your homie's wiener is cold in the winter, use your mouth to warm it up.
And if yours is cold, too, you could do, like, a formation to get all your bases covered.
Where like one person is like looks like a 6 and the other person looks like a 9, and like you just kind of walk around like that.
Like the summer of '69.
Yeah.
Like the Bryan Adams song.
What a crazy year that would have been for people. Do you think that joke was invented back then?
I wonder, like, is it named after the year it was coined in?
Maybe everyone's just walking around like that was the thing where like people are doing handstands and walking around and providing oral pleasure to each other.
I mean, those hippies were up to some fucking wacky shit.
Oh, big time wacky.
Boomers were cool back then. I don't know what happened.
I don't think they knew that they were boomers back then. I think they were just people.
Well, I think boomer meant something very different back then. Is this what I'm going to turn into? Am I going to be like in 40 years talking about how I don't want people moving into my neighborhood that make under 100K because my property value is going to go down?
You're going to live in a neighborhood and you're like, I don't want people living here who aren't podcasters.
Well, I mean, I'm already like that.
Oh, that's fair.
The new billionaire class is podcasters. 2000s, it was tech guys.
There's going to be a hierarchy where it's going to go millionaires, billionaires, podcasters. It doesn't matter how much money they have. You're going to look down on those billionaires and you're going to spit on them.
I'm at the top of the financial and intellectual pecking order. It's like people look up at me and they're like, wow, how could I do that? And I won't tell them.
You could tell them, like, to get started, you could just be like, yeah, when I first started my podcast, I had 2 tin cans and a string. And that's how we did it.
Yeah, I used to just talk on the other end and record it with my phone.
I would walk down the street and I would harass people, ask them about what they think about current events.
How much do you pay for rent? You know,
How much do you make a year?
those homeless guys were really mad at me for that.
I've been trying to do this thing because in Kelowna there is a surplus of really jacked dudes with tiny dogs. And I really want to start like an Instagram account where it's just pictures of jacked dudes with tiny dogs because they're everywhere and it's so funny.
What do you think attracts the big man to the tiny dog?
Probably the girlfriend with fake tits that he's banging.
Yeah, that would check out. I was thinking more of just like a David and Goliath situation, you know, where it's just like the big guy, he's just attracted to the small thing and like trying to protect it, you know?
Yeah, but that's not how the story went.
That's not how the story went at all.
Kills
Yeah.
Goliath. Yeah, I'm just raising this little dog so I can eat it.
He's raising this little dog so it can eat me.
Yeah, there you go.
See, I'm putting
This
this
little-
Chihuahua through a training arc.
I was gonna
right
say
now.
Frenchie. That's what I see all the time. Ugh, they're gross dogs. I worked at one house where they have like two Frenchies and they're internet famous or something like that. I really don't know the accounts because they're disgusting. And I went there to do some to work on the house, and the dogs came out and both of them were wearing diapers, and I was like, what is up with that? And like, oh, they just have a bad habit of like peeing on the floor. I was like, okay, so they're like inbred monsters.
Like, small dogs are objectively like the worst dogs.
Can you imagine having like a Chihuahua as like your support animal? It'd be like the only dog you could have that has more anxiety than you.
The vibes would just make me more nervous.
It's like, oh, you're nervous? What are we nervous about?
We're literally just sitting in my house. We're just in the living room. What's going on?
Just vibrating.
Oh, wow. You shit all over the place again, buddy. Great.
You and me have that in common.
I gotta get 2 buckets, one for me and one for you right now.
Can you wait till I'm done and then I can clean up your mess?
At least like shit in the same spot I shit.
Yeah,
It saves
that's
me
just
time.
That's just common sense.
It's like we have one shit pile, and if you don't contribute to it, I'm gonna have to kick you out of the house.
We want to be king of the shit pile.
You're shitting in a lot of places for a tiny little guy. Like I could punt you right now.
You ever think about doing that to someone's dog? Or I don't endorse like animal abuse, but you ever just like the intrusive thoughts like start to take over and you're like, maybe I could.
Yeah, I mean, like we're just talking in hypotheticals here. Like, yeah, I would
Yes,
never punt
hypothetical.
a tiny little dog, but it would be kind of funny.
It would be pretty funny. I heard that if like legally you're allowed to retaliate against a dog if it like attacks you. So if like obviously those little dogs are more aggressive than the bigger dogs like 90% of the time. So I always think like if I see this one that like starts to bite my ankle or something, I'm like that's free reign to just kick it.
Yeah, just
Ew, I stepped in
squish
shit.
it. Yeah, the moment it lays like one tiny little tooth on me, it's game over.
Your dog looked at me funny. I'm gonna have to kick it.
I see that as an act of aggression.
Yo,
Like-
check your boy.
It's like keep that thing under control, or I'm gonna have to kick it across the street.
That's funny. That's the same thing I say to people about their children.
I mean, me too.
Yeah.
I think people should put their children on leashes more.
Those things are so funny. I love seeing children on leashes. I get such a kick out of it. And I don't know why. I think it's just like the degradation of seeing a child on a leash.
It's like if it's something that didn't happen like already, you would write that as like a joke at the expense of like bad parenting. You know?
My thought is like, did the parents just like automatically assume that they needed to put a leash on this kid, or does this kid have like a past where he's like just being a little hellraiser, and so they're like, no, reel it in.
You have no idea. This is the most evil child on the planet. We have to tie him down.
This is the Antichrist.
But I mean, like, I can't imagine that's like good for the kids, you know?
No, like, got to be some psychological issues with that when they grow older.
Yeah, treating your kid like an animal.
They're gonna grow up and be into bondage, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they're gonna probably take it to a level where it's like more taboo than normal bondage.
Yeah, like the extra layer of taboo where you're doing it like in public.
This is a tree in a public park, and I'm gonna tie myself to it and watch and have sex with others.
And I'm gonna piss all over it. You ever see those guys like the human pups? Where they're all wearing like leather outfits like to look like dogs and
Yeah,
they're going around.
Not
with
in real
leashes.
life, but I've seen that like on the internet, and that I don't understand that.
What motivates someone to do? Who comes up with this stuff? You know,
They're definitely betas, big time betas.
I don't know. It's pretty alpha, honestly. I mean, like other than the fact it's like in a submissive like kind of position. If they're going out like that, like that's confidence right
You know what?
there.
I didn't think about it that way. I think that's something I'm gonna have to start to do. If I want more confidence, I'm gonna What is it called? Like
Like I think it's like a human pup or something like that.
I'm gonna human pup myself for confidence. I'm gonna feel good about myself.
I'm gonna be bold like a wolf.
Those things are tight. I can't imagine like fitting into that. I'm wearing
Yeah.
like skinny jeans right now, and I kind of hate it.
Imagine just crawling around in a leather suit. That just doesn't sound like pleasant at all.
Do you think they can like move well enough in those things?
I don't know. I mean, it really depends on like how tight it is, I guess.
I don't know. I think about that, and like I would be afraid of like ripping it, but I imagine it's made out of something that like won't rip unless it's designed to do that.
This is the interesting thing about like a lot of fetishists like that though, is that they're surprisingly wealthy. And it's the same as like a lot of furries.
I
They
guess.
just have a lot of money. you
Yeah,
know?
if you're rich enough, you get bored because you don't have. I mean, either they don't work and they just like have all this free time to do, I don't know, do debaucherous acts or whatever. But I don't know
See, my theory is that most of them work IT or in like coding or something like that.
why.
I mean, they're high paying jobs, but they're also very socially isolating.
That's very fair.
And you're like working on the internet a lot. So you're able to converse with your fellow human pups on the clock, you know?
One might make the argument that podcasters are in the same boat.
No, I agree. We're degenerates. We're awful people.
I'm glad you admit it.
I don't have a job right now. I
Can you say that again, but less depressing?
I don't know if I can. No. It's like I owe the government a lot of money right now, and I'm incurring a lot of debt right now, and it's not making me very happy. Gotta say, but you know what? This is gonna be the episode.
This is gonna be it.
See, everybody knows that your first 9 podcast episodes aren't supposed to blow up, but your 10th one is.
It's a lot of pressure you're putting on me right now.
Well, I'm putting more pressure on myself. Don't worry.
Okay, gotcha. So I can just sit back, relax, and say whatever I want.
Diamonds are created under pressure.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I stole it from someone.
You stole the diamond from someone?
Yeah. I'm not very creative actually. All my jokes and all my ideas are just taken from other things.
Stealing bits.
I'm a little bit thief. With that being said, I think we should cut to I don't know, commercials. Take a break. We've been running for like, I don't know, 25 minutes or so. We've been rocking and rolling.
Didn't feel like it, but yeah, we'll do a commercial then.
Tune in for more Daniel action. More action with Daniel. Oh no! I'm trying to expand my social media presence, but all this short form content stuff just goes over my head. What am I gonna do? Hi, I'm Chase Mair. Did you know that 34 million TikToks get uploaded every single day? Did you know that 2,500 videos get uploaded to YouTube every single minute? With all those videos out there, how are you gonna stand out? You need a professional video editor. That's where I come in. I provide efficient, engaging, and effective edits for all your content needs. I want to help you spread your message on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. So what are you waiting for? Contact me today, and let's make something that your audience is gonna love. And we're back with Daniel.
We are back.
One of our cameramen just decided to fart like 5 times right before we started rolling, so that's fun.
We're marinating in it right now.
Delicious pheromones. Little bit of a taster.
I can taste it. I can taste the fart.
It's like caviar.
You say caviar or Javier?
I
Tastes
was-
like Javier Bardem.
Ah, delicious caviar.
You think he tastes like a fart, like in real life?
You know, I think that'd be kind of rude, but I feel like we would have to investigate.
I don't know. He's a big, sexy man. I feel like he would taste pretty good.
I would imagine so, yes.
I kind of hope so.
If Javier Bardem is listening to this, email me and let me know.
Give us a skin sample.
Do you taste like farts? So I've been coming up with bits to try and boost engagement on the show. Something a little palatable for the normies. So I came up with this really, really clever underground bit called Over or Underrated,
Okay.
where I'm going to list a few things and you can determine whether or not they're overrated, they're underrated, or if people are just like right about it.
Unbiased opinion.
Well, exactly. You know.
Okay.
I think it's a good icebreaker.
I think this bit is underrated.
Not to spoil one of the prompts, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh, shit. A little premature.
So over or underrated? Bacon.
I think it's like the right amount of appreciation.
Okay, yeah.
I spend a lot of time with like vegans who don't like bacon, which is weird, but so I don't know. I think people got it right.
I feel like vegans would be the last people I would ask about the flavor of a meat.
I mean, some of them used to eat meat and now they don't, so they have an opinion.
Honestly, like I would like the type of vegan that I don't see enough is just the people that are just like, I just don't like the taste of it.
It's actually the majority of people that I've met.
Really?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I don't have a lot of like annoying vegans in my life.
Because like most of the people I know who are like vegetarian or vegan, from what I gathered, it was either like a health thing or like an ethics thing.
That's usually where it stems from. Bacon, just right.
Bacon, perfect, perfectly rated. Video games.
I'm not much of a gamer myself, so I would probably say like overrated, but I don't know.
Yeah, they're a little overrated.
Mavis Beacon typing game.
Classic.
Perfect. Classic. Can't go like that's a great game.
That's an underground hit.
I lose every time, but it's still fun to play.
I can never type fast enough.
No.
I think it's overrated simply because like people just like center their personalities around it, you know?
The video games?
Yeah, like the gamers.
Yeah. The one thing I don't understand about the gaming community is like people who just watch other people play the video game. I mean, like if you're
Yeah.
trying to learn how to play it, that's fine, or like figure something out, but like people who just watch them to like it's a movie, I don't get that.
Yeah, it's like I thought half the enjoyment was like doing the thing, playing
Yeah.
the game. Yeah,
You're supposed to like figure it out yourself.
it's like I've seen people now online get nostalgic over like old like videos of people playing video games. Just like, oh yeah, I missed when this guy was playing through this one game for like a year on his channel. I'm like,
Do you really? Do you?
do you?
Do you have nothing else going on in your life where you just rewatch old video game tutorials?
Have you seen grass before?
Have you touched grass with your bare feet, connected with Mother Nature?
Go on a hike.
Go barefoot.
Over or underrated? Driving.
Underrated. I have a lot of fun driving.
See, I mean, I guess that's this difference. Like in Kelowna, it's not that bad to drive there, I guess.
No, it's really not bad. I can, like, my average speed going everywhere is like 80. Except school zones, because I got in trouble the one time. But
Yeah, you go 90 now.
yeah, just to make sure.
I think I'm in the overrated camp, but also I live in a big city.
Yeah, that is a different. I mean, like, I hate driving in Vancouver, but fortunately, like, both the places I stay when I come to visit are like right next to transit, basically. So I just park my truck and then I just take the SkyTrain everywhere.
So I say, I think like the other coin is I just think transit in general is just underrated.
Oh yeah, big time.
It's like I like going on the train.
I like trains.
I like trains. I like the bus.
Trains are fun. You can like do a lot of fun things on trains.
I could be on my phone.
You could have a train yourself on the train.
I could get trained on the train.
It's like a trainception.
Layers. Over or underrated? Tattoos.
Overrated, big time.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
understand people who have tattoos.
I don't get it either.
There's one tattoo I do want to get. I want to get a tattoo of a butt on my back so I can be like, hey, you want to see my butt tattoo? And then people get confused when I take my shirt off.
That's a good bit.
It's not a bit. It's going to happen.
Well, I mean, like things can happen and also be bits, you know.
All right. Fair enough.
Over or underrated? Steak.
I think it's a little overrated. Don't get me wrong. I love a good steak, but I don't know. People like charging as much as they do for it. I think it's a little overrated.
I just don't get with steak how it's like when people say like this is a good food, they're talking about steak. Like that's the default. Like I'm having a nice dinner, I'm having a steak.
Like when people are on death row, they're like, "What's your final meal?" It's like, "I want steak and lobster." It's like, why not? Like,
Yeah,
you can get anything else, and steak is as far as your imagination goes.
it's like the most basic. Yeah, this is a good meal kind of thing.
I would say I want a Las Vegas buffet.
like why not just like stretch it all out? You know that like there's a lot of states that don't do last meals anymore.
Why?
I know in Texas they don't do last meals anymore because the whole deal with that was some guy just ordered like a whole bunch of food, like a buffet's worth of food, and he just didn't eat any of it.
Just one last little fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're just like, nope, no more.
That's brilliant.
You're gonna kill the guy anyways. Like, let him troll you a little bit.
Yeah. Or like I don't know if it's real, but there's like people who have like severe peanut allergies and they're like, your last meal is like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then they just die from the peanut.
Going out on your own terms.
Yeah.
Just wasting thousands, if not millions of dollars in taxpayer income because
Well,
you've been on death row for like 15 years.
Well, we've got everything ready. We might as well kill someone.
Is there anybody in the yard who wants like a free out? Like,
Yeah. This is your one opportunity to get out.
you're in for life. Whether you want to come with us or just stay right here.
We're going to consider this your jail time like marriage, till death do us part.
If you get like 2 consecutive life sentences, like how does that work? You know,
I don't get that either.
it's like you think that like one would be enough. Like if you reincarnate as like a bug or something, do they like arrest the bug? Do they throw the bug in
They
prison?
track your soul.
They got the soul trackers at the CIA just to like triangulate that.
Oh, it's a bug.
All right, number 3. Let's see where he goes this time.
This guy just won't learn. He was a really mean bug.
He was a bug serial killer. Over or underrated? Hip hop.
Not being a hip hop guy myself, I think most of it's overrated. There's a lot of good hip hop out there, but I think in general it's very overrated.
No, I think that's valid. I think my thing is that like hip hop is in that same like space as like rock was like even like 10 years ago. You know?
It's like the thing now, and so like I don't know. I hear a lot of like the new like hip hop or rap artists these days, and I sound like such an old guy, but I'm like only 24. But I hear a lot of like the new rap coming out. I'm like, I don't understand this at all.
It happens to everybody.
I mean, like tonight I'm going to a metal show, so that kind of like tells you where I'm at.
What show are you going to?
The headliner is called Angel Maker, and I believe that they're from Vancouver. I'm not 100% sure on that. They're pretty good. The actually, I don't know what he does in the band, but he stayed at my house in Kelowna for a while because I lived with people who were in like bands and stuff like that, and they were friends with him, and so he spent the night, and he left our front door open all night, and the 2 cats that we had in the house got out, and I had to find them before I went to work, and I was actually pretty pissed.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed too.
He also got into a fight with one of the people who lived on our block, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you can't do this. He will remain nameless just for his own sake, but yeah, dick.
As much as I like musicians, I have musician friends, a lot of musicians that are like into like the hardcore or like the punk or the metal scenes too, and it's just like some of them are just kind of disasters.
You don't get into that kind of music because you got your shit together.
Yeah,
there's very few of us.
And it's like eventually like some people get their shit together, the others just like live like that their entire lives, you know.
Those people are fun. I went to a show in Vancouver a while ago. I can't remember when it was. I think it was in April, and there's a guy at the show who the whole time was like smoking cigarettes inside. It was, I don't know if you know the Commodore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in there, like we were there, and he was smoking cigarettes while he was inside, and he was like groping fat chicks, which is kind of funny to say, but it's also not great. But like just always harassing, like, stop laughing, Ben. He was being a piece of shit, and he ended up getting kicked out because of that. And then after the show went out, I went outside, and this guy is in like handcuffs, and there's cops there. And I found out on my way back, my brother texted me, and he told me that there was a guy at that show who pulled out a gun and was like threatening to shoot cops, and it was that guy.
That guy was having an interesting day.
Big time. Yeah.
Anyways, over or underrated? The Big Bang Theory.
The show?
Yeah.
You know, I have to admit, I think it's overrated, but I also did enjoy it.
We all make mistakes.
Bazinga, it's a classic.
That is a classic line.
Yeah.
I obviously like I think it's overrated, but not because like I think it's like unfunny. I mean, I don't really think it's like funny, but I remember liking it as like a kid or whatever. It's
you didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better, I guess. My big issue was that like I remember there was a period of my life where whenever I would like see like extended family, they would always just compare me to Sheldon Cooper.
Ouch.
I legitimately got mad at that, especially when I got a little older, like when I was like in high school, and they would like be like, "Oh, you're just like Sheldon." I'm like, "No."
Did they tell you why you were like Sheldon?
No. I was complaining to like my mom about it, and she's like, "Oh no, they just think that you're like smart." I'm like, "No, I think that they think I'm autistic."
Definitely not it.
You don't call a guy Sheldon Cooper if you think he's just a smart guy, you know.
Oh my God, you're just like Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. That's so funny.
I refuse to think it was a compliment. Like, I'm quirky.
I wouldn't take it that way. I wouldn't. If I got compared to anyone on that show, I wouldn't take it as a compliment.
I mean, like, if somebody compared me to Leonard, I'd be angrier.
Leonard's a horrible guy.
We were drunk a couple months ago, and we put that show on as like a bit. And it was just like, man, this Leonard guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
He's such a fucking spineless dweeb.
There's like a lot of like those sitcoms, like How I Met Your Mother as well. Like Leonard and Ted give off the same energy to me.
Dudes in sitcoms that like their whole bit is, I'm going to harass this woman until she fucks me kind of energy. Where it's like, I don't know why people in like the 2000s and like the 2010s were like so enraptured with that type of guy, you know?
Frat boy mentality.
It's the frat boy mentality under like the package of like a quote unquote nice guy. Like, I guess like the Ross from Friends kind of type, you know?
I actually have not seen an episode of Friends in my life.
It's not my thing.
That's overrated big time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can say because I haven't seen it, but I just know that I don't want to.
It's another extension of just like people make this their personality, you know?
Yeah, big time. It's like people who quote The Office constantly as well.
Yeah.
But I do like The Office.
Like The Office is like a reasonably funny show. I think it has some good bits. I don't think it's like my favorite of all time or anything,
No.
but like if somebody puts on The Office, like if they're talking about how great it is, I get turned off, but they're just like on there as like a background noise thing. I'm like, yeah, sure.
That's all it is now.
Over or underrated? Getting head.
I think overrated. I don't know. I'm not a huge head guy.
I feel like I'm nodding my head like we're the same guy right now. Here's the like people are always talking about how awesome head is. I don't think I've ever gotten head where I'm like, wow, this is like the best thing I've ever had. You know?
I know there's always like on Tinder, you see like sometimes the girl's bio will be like hinting that she's really good at it, and it's like I don't think that's true. I think you're just like guys are just telling you that because you're hot.
People really overplay their hands about how good they are at like having sex in general, I think.
Yes.
I mean, I know I'm terrible.
Amen.
I start off with that. I am an awful fuck.
I have like a joke that I do where it's like people say that you should go dancing on your first date because it like shows your like sexual style, and I'm like, so I go dancing to show that I sweat a lot, lose my breath easily, and in general just don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
It's like you could say I've never been dancing before. This is actually the best it's gone.
Actually, I've really been working on it. I hope you're proud of me.
On your sex? You've been working on sex right now?
No, on the dancing.
Oh, on the dancing. Okay.
I don't fuck enough.
But that's why you're working on dancing.
Eventually, my quirked up white guy moves will get me somewhere, I'm sure.
What's your go-to white guy move?
I don't know, the worm?
The worm? You can worm?
No.
No? Okay.
That's what I'm working on.
Okay, gotcha.
If I saw a guy in a club doing a worm, I would give him a high five.
While he's doing the worm, he comes up and...
See if he can get his body to like contort upwards. Over or underrated? Selfies.
Overrated. I actually despise selfies. I think they're super narcissistic.
I kind of had a change of perspective on that because I'm not like a selfie guy at all. I mean, like I take videos of myself all the time, just like in a bit sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think
But
like
you're like making fun of yourself in a way when you do
Yeah.
that. Like it's different than like if like when you take a selfie, like you're like, I feel like I look good and I want validation for it.
But yeah, it's like I went on vacation to San Francisco earlier this year, and like I had a great time. And then I realized I'm like, I really don't have a lot of pictures from this. And I realized I just never take a lot of pictures when I'm like traveling somewhere. Maybe it's just because like I went to like film school and I did photography like for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I overthink it, and I think like it has to be like something like well composed or anything like that. And like
You think other people are going to be criticizing it?
yeah, even though I know it's just me,
Yeah.
right? And like maybe that's why I'm a little softer on the selfie now, where it's just like I feel like that's a lot of people's way that like they kind of document their own like memories almost, you know?
And that's fair. I'm also not like a picture person. I did photography for a little bit, but like I don't know. It's not something I stuck to. It's more just like there was a line from, you ever watch Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
I haven't, but I know like the general conceit of that movie. Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed that one. That was like one of the first like movies that I watched where it actually had like an impact on how I think about life. And I don't remember when it came out, but I was pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a line in there where Sean Penn, of all people, is like, he's like this photographer. He's a wildlife photographer, and he's in like the mountains of Asia, and he's trying to get like a snow leopard or something like that. And he sees it, and like the character Walter is like with him, and he's like, why didn't you take the picture? And his line back is, sometimes I don't want to take the picture, sometimes I just want to live in the moment. And so I think about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I just don't end up taking pictures. I also hate my phone. So
Yeah, I kind of internalize the like same mentality a lot of the time when I travel.
Yeah.
It's 50-50. I feel like sometimes I do wish that I had like documented it a little more.
yeah,
Because like I feel like we trust our memories more than we should.
if I don't remember it, it wasn't worth remembering to begin with.
Valid. Over or underrated? The United States of America.
Probably overrated, but I feel like it's still fun. It's fun to watch. Like, we're in Canada right now, so it's just kind of fun to watch their mess while our mess happens too.
Yeah.
I was like, we could be like that.
The U.S. is like a fun place for me to travel to on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to hang out there. Yeah, I would say it's like overrated. Mostly on the fact I would never want to live there unless I was rich.
I feel like your money could go a little farther in the States than it can here.
Yeah.
But also, like, you think about it, like all of the Hollywood movies where, like, especially I think about Independence Day, where it's like the aliens are invading and they go to the States right away. It's like, that's also narcissistic.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like now that they are like the center of the world. So of course they're going to go and like if aliens invade, they're going to attack the States because that's going to have like a huge impact on everyone. There's also going to be like those countries that are like, yes, those sons of bitches are gone.
It's the most self-absorbed country on the planet.
Yeah.
Online dating, over or underrated?
I think it's kind of like at the perfect point because it works for a lot of people. I've seen it work for others. But I also like it's weird because like if you're focused like talking to this person, let's say, and you really hit it off, you're always like in the back of your head and you match with other people on other shit. I'm mostly thinking of Tinder because that's where most of my experience comes from. Like if you match with one person, you hit it off really well, you always think like, oh, there's other people that I can hang out with. And so I don't like that aspect of it where it's like you can't focus on just one person.
Yeah, you kind of bounce around a lot.
Yeah. But that being said, it's worked for a lot of other people.
I would say that it's perfectly rated because everybody I talk to about online dating, they hate it. But also it's overrated because I don't fuck.
You'll get there once those dance moves come in.
When I get the worm down and when the show blows up.
Yeah.
The 1-2 punch.
You're going to call it the worm show blow up.
I'm going to write that down. Over or underrated? Murder.
Underrated.
Yeah, real.
Too many goddamn people in this world.
I think that people are a little too harsh on it.
There's a lot of people in this world. I don't think it's great morally. It's wrong. You're taking a life. But also, I don't really like people all that much.
A lot of the time, like my kind of like my misanthropic, cynical side comes through. And I think like maybe the solution to some problems is that if just people just died in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good solution, but it would be a solution, wouldn't it?
You remember when COVID first started and we all thought that a bunch of old people were going to die?
I mean, a bunch of old people did die.
Yeah, not enough. Not in my opinion, my unbiased opinion.
It could have been more.
It could have been. Could have been way more. You old people are lucky.
See, I was gonna do this bit about, but I don't want to talk about whether or not I think should die or not. Maybe that would be treason, as they say.
What's the Canadian like SWAT team? Isn't it like CSIS or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're just gonna burst through the windows after you say that on your podcast.
They're gonna whack me.
Can I still air it?
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's satire. You can't say that. I'm not saying I would say that. I wouldn't do it.
Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
Over or underrated? The Chase Mair Show.
Underrated. 100%.
Absolutely.
You people listening and watching this, y'all need to get on. Like, tell your friends about the Chase Mair Show. There's gonna be a theme song soon. Chase Mair Show, where people come and talk, and it's good. That's a work in progress, but it's.
That's a sneak preview. Just tune in. Stay locked in.
Big things are coming. It's underrated. You want to get on it right away because people are gonna be like, "Have you heard of the Chase Mair Show?" Like, yeah, I've been listening since like episode 10.
I was there when it was humble, when it was low budget, low grade.
When it was in the basement of the house that he was living in, and now it's just at a set that looks like the basement he's living in.
You know, recreate the entire basement just like on a soundstage.
Right down to Matt's farts.
We got synthetic farts flowing through.
It's like when Disneyland pumps like the smell of cookies in the air to make you buy more. We're gonna pump Matt's farts through the air so that people come to Chase Mair Show.
Delectable.
You think you would ever do like a live show where you have like an audience members?
It'd be a funny bit. I would have to find like an angle with that though. Like maybe yeah, it's just like a revolving door of just like I just bring people up from the audience and I just interview them.
I guess that turns into more of like a talk show than it is a podcast.
I'm like Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson.
Speaking of show, I think that's a wrap. So yeah, another episode done. Do you have anything you'd like to share with the world? Anything you'd like to plug, Daniel?
Just follow me on Instagram at Dan and Dirty. It's my favorite name. I'm going to be trying to do some shows in Vancouver coming up, and then Calgary and Edmonton as well are in the works. So if you like laughing, please come to my show, please.
If you're a fan of laughing, if you're a big laughing fan, tune into Daniel's shows. And tune in, I think, probably either next week or the week after for another episode of The Chase Mair Show. We're going to have more laughs, more gaffes, and more interviews. So yeah. Stay tuned for more show. Chase Mair Show. Coming soon to you.